He didn't dream of heroes. At 2:47 in the morning, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Office was empty, except for one desk, one cold cup of coffee, and Kenji Sato, a civil engineer still hunched over blueprints, still chasing a drainage gradient that was off by zero point 0.3 degrees. No one would thank him for fixing it. He fixed things anyway. The clock on the wall did not care about deadlines. It only counted tick after tick, while Kenji Sato worked himself toward a number no one would put on his grave. 2:47 a.m. Kenji Sato, 34 years old, murmured numbers that only engineers understood. Section C4, 0.3 degrees off. He told himself he would fix it tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. His hand, ink-stained, steady for 20 years, traced a drainage line that would outlive the man drawing it. Municipal water infrastructure. The invisible backbone of a city that would never know his name. The pen slipped. His head dropped. A soft thud against blueprints. The only sound of a life ending not with glory, but with paperwork. His eyes stayed half open. The lines on the page smeared. Consciousness did not leave in a flash. It leaked away, one blurred digit at a time. Section C4. The gradient correction he never made. It would sit under his cheek, wrong by 0.3 degrees, while the office clock kept counting a time he would not see. Kenji Sato, 34, Municipal Civil Engineer. Found at his desk, Thursday, 2:51 a.m. Cause of death, overwork. No next of kin listed. The city kept glowing outside the window. It did not notice. Silence. 3 seconds. White. Something woke. Not a god. Not a kingdom. A system, cold and blue, initializing in the white. Kenji Sato's eyes snapped open. The fluorescent office was gone. The coffee was gone. The blueprint was gone. Something else had begun. He knelt on cold marble in a hall built for judgment. Robed figures looked down from tiered seats. The erosion tribunal, where worth was measured in mana, and men like Kenji were sorted like refuse. A thin gray exile shift, bare feet on stone, glowing bindings on his wrists. Kenji Sato, who had fixed cities, could not fix where he was. High Priest Varian Crestfall. Mana, 847. Class, High Priest. He did not see a man. He saw a blank space in the divine order, and blank spaces were meant to be erased. Kenji was not afraid. He was interrupted. Where am I? He demanded. I was at my desk. The scribe read without feeling. Sole designation, unclassified, blank, no mana imprint, no divine class, no ancestral lineage. In the kingdom of Oris, Kenji Sato was not a person. He was an error code. The status screen floated before him with brutal simplicity. Mana, 0. Class, none. Status, non-person. They laughed. Not with cruelty, with amusement. A blank in Oris? Who sent this through the conduit? As if Kenji were mail delivered to the wrong address. Varian's voice did not rise. It did not need to. A blank has no place in the kingdom. It has no name. It has no worth. It has nothing. Kenji's jaw tightened. The numbers on the screen did not define him. I have a name, he said. Do you? Varian answered from somewhere above. Look at it, a judge sneered. It cannot even generate a class screen properly. Send it to the Expanse. That is where blanks belong. Kenji. Sato. That's my name, he said, to marble, to gold, to a kingdom that had already decided he was nothing. You're not exiled, blank, Varian said. You are returned. The desert is where things without purpose go. Armored guards advanced. One carried a portal stone, already glowing orange, already hungry. The Expanse waited on the other side. The gray shift tore. What the tribunal did not take, they destroyed. Only a strip of cloth remained at Kenji's waist, the last artifact of a kingdom that wanted him erased. Humiliation burned colder than shame. But Kenji's eyes, even at ground level, were not broken. They were calculating. Record the disposal, Varian said, eyes on the scroll. blank entity returned to the searing expanse. No memorial, no name. To the stone floor, Kenji whispered what no one else could hear. Section C4. I'll fix it myself. The portal stone erupted, orange-white fire in a hall of marble. Kenji did not walk through it. He was thrown. No choice. No countdown. Only velocity. From Judgment Hall to a desert 2,000 kilometers wide, where unprovisioned exiles lasted 4 days. Varian did not watch Kenji disappear. He signed the scroll. That was the last kindness the kingdom of Oris would ever offer. The Searing Expanse. 2,000 kilometers of sand. Average survival for an unprovisioned exile. For days. Kenji had less than a shift scrap and a sentence he refused to accept. He slammed into sand at a speed flesh was not designed to survive. The impact crater was the first thing he had ever built in this world. The portal winked out. One last orange spark. Then nothing but sky. The sun did not negotiate. It simply was white-hot, cloudless, infinite. Sand. Rock. Heat shimmer. In every direction, the same verdict. Die here. Kenji lay in the crater his body had made. The sand hissed against sunburned skin. There was no shade. There was no water. There was only time running out. Red spread across his shoulders faster than any blueprint error he had ever marked. The desert wrote its corrections in pain. One arm, one knee, toward anywhere that was not here. Too hot, he cracked. The desert did not listen. Through heat shimmer, a dark shape. Oasis or hallucination, the difference did not matter. Kenji crawled toward it anyway. The Sunken Eye oasis. A depression in the earth. Salt-crusted rim. Murky gray-green water at the center. The most beautiful thing Kenji Sato had ever seen. He was a tiny figure crossing an impossible distance, one crawl at a time, toward water that might kill him slower than thirst. He fell forward. Hands hit water. Splash, the first sound of survival. He drank. He gagged. Metal and rot. The taste of a wellspring no one had claimed because no one could survive it. Murky water. Oily sheen. Salt crystals. A dead sand scorpion floating near the rim. Undrinkable. Unclaimed. Waiting. The Sunken Eye oasis. The place where things without purpose go, according to Varian Crestfall. Kenji Sato was beginning to disagree. He sat at the water's edge and refused to die. His lips cracked. His shoulders burned. And for the first time, his hands began weaving scrub fibers into something that might keep him alive. Memory. Section C4. The office. The gradient he never fixed. The problem he always solved. Until the problem was himself. Water exists. Contaminated. Contamination can be filtered. The engineer in Kenji Sato did not panic. It identified variables. Okay, he said. Once. Twice. Not hope. Not yet. Just a decision. Bloody bare feet on salt stone. The sun behind him. Kenji Sato stood, unsteady, sunburned, and still not dead. My name is Kenji Sato. I was thrown here to die, he said to the empty basin. This is the land they chose for me. This place is mine. I claim it. I claim all of it. Shouted at a desert that had swallowed armies and did not expect an engineer. The sand answered. Blue geometry erupted from his feet, concentric circles, blueprint lines, load diagrams. The architect's system had found its canvas. Unclaimed territory detected, the system announced, in a language only Kenji could read. Registering ownership. User, Kenji Sato, confirmed. Kenji did not celebrate. Engineers do not celebrate blueprints. They read them. For the first time in this world, something made sense. Master domain established. Radius, 0.4 kilometers. Architect system version 1.0 activated. Level 1. Blueprint library, Kenji read. 1 entry. Solar still primitive. 4 to 6 hours. He had until sunset. He had done harder jobs on less sleep. A translucent schematic overlaid his vision, cross-section, materials, sequence. Earth engineering, translated into a language of survival. Materials, present. Ruined stone, scrub fibers, oily water. Sunday time. If I don't build this, I'm dead by sunset. He waded into toxic water and gathered stones anyway. Section C4. I'll fix it myself. The promise he made on marble, made again in mud. Scrape, scrape, stone against stone. His hands bled. The basin took shape, ugly, precise, correct. Scrub fibers became membrane. Tear, press. Engineering did not require magic. It required repetition. By sunset, he wore more than rags. A tan-wrapped tunic, rough, woven, his, and the first structure of a civilization that did not exist yet. Calloused hands, cracked knuckles, blood and lime and mud. The hands of a man who builds things, even when the world says he is nothing. Condensation surface needs 5 degrees cooler than evaporation surface, he muttered. Angle it. There. The engineer was home, wherever the blueprint was. Ugly. Perfect. A primitive solar still at the edge of toxic water. The first structure in the Sunken Eye oasis that anyone had built to last. Kenji sat in the only shade available, his own shadow, and waited. Dehydrated. Conscious. Watching condensation form on fiber membrane. Tiny droplets gathered on the underside of the membrane. Physics did not care about mana. Physics cared about temperature differential. One drop. Pure. Clean. Catching light in a desert that had only ever offered poison. He cupped the water in cracked, bleeding palms, the same hands that had fixed drainage gradients for a city that forgot him. He drank. One mouthful. Not triumph. Confirmation. It works, he whispered. The system chimed like a cathedral bell. Structure complete. Solar still. Primitive. Innovation bonus. Level up. Architect level. 1 to 2. Shade structure unlocked. Structural site unlocked. The world changed. Red stress lines. Green stable paths. Blue arrows beneath the water. Groundwater deep and sustainable. Kenji could see what others could not. Volcanic ash in the desert stone. Pozzolanic. That is not rock, Kenji said. That is concrete waiting to happen. Architect level 2. Master domain. Sunken Eye oasis. Population 1. Structures 1. Water status. Basic. Solar still operational. They gave me 0 mana, Kenji said to the desert. They did not give me 0 water. They threw away a man with 0 magic. They did not know he was carrying an entire civilization in his head. Blueprint 0. End of chapter 1. The desert had an owner now.